Right now, somewhere in the world, a person is laughing. And if you could freeze that exact moment and ask them why, most of them couldn't tell you. Not really. They'd shrug and say something was funny. But if I followed you around with a camera for a single day and counted every laugh that left your body and then played each one back to you, you'd be shocked by how few of them had anything to do with a joke. Most of your laughter isn't about comedy at all. It's about something much older, much stranger, and honestly a little bit unsettling. So today we're going to go through every reason we laugh, from the obvious ones to the awkward ones, all the way down to the reasons that will make you look at the people around you a little differently. And by the end, I promise you'll understand something about yourself that you've been doing your whole life without ever noticing. Let's start with the reason you think is the main one, because it isn't. The reason everybody assumes is at the top of the list is simple. Things are funny. A joke has a setup, and then a punchline yanks the rug out from under you. Your brain was walking confidently down one path, expecting one ending, and suddenly it's somewhere completely different. That little jolt, that gap between what you expected and what you got, has a name. Psychologists call it incongruity. Your mind builds a prediction, reality breaks it, and for a split second, there's this harmless collision inside your head. And laughter is the sound your brain makes when it realizes the collision didn't hurt. That's why surprise is the engine of almost every joke. The moment you can see the punchline coming, it stops being funny. The whole trick depends on your brain being caught off guard, then instantly realizing there's no danger. Safe surprise. Hold on to that phrase, safe surprise, because it's going to come back in ways you won't expect. But here's where it gets strange. If comedy were really the main reason we laugh, then most of our laughter would happen while we're watching something funny. Alone on the couch, phone in hand, comedy special playing. And it turns out that's almost the opposite of the truth. Researchers who study laughter did something nobody had really bothered to do before they went out into the real world, into shopping malls and sidewalks and parties, and they eavesdropped. They listened to thousands of real laughs happening naturally between real people. And when they looked at what was said right before each laugh, they found something that broke the whole comedy theory in half. The vast majority of the things people laughed at weren't jokes. They weren't even attempts at humor. They were lines like, "I know," right? Or, "Where have you been?" Or, "It was nice meeting you too." Completely unfunny, painfully ordinary. So if people are laughing at, "Where have you been?" then laughter clearly isn't about being funny. So what is it about? That question takes us to the second reason, and it's the big one. We laugh to bond. Long before humans could speak, before there were words or jokes or language of any kind, our ancestors needed a way to say to each other, "I'm with you. We're okay. We're the same kind." And laughter was that signal. It's a sound you can't easily fake in the moment. It travels across a distance, and it spreads from one body to another almost automatically. When you laugh with someone, you're not really commenting on how funny they are. You're synchronizing. You're telling them, without a single word, that you belong to the same group. That's why you laugh more with your friends than at any comedian. That's why a boring story from someone you love gets more laughter than a brilliant joke from a stranger. The laughter was never really about the words. It was about the connection underneath them. And once you understand that laughter is a social glue, a whole bunch of confusing things suddenly start to make sense. Take the fact that laughter is contagious. You've felt this. Someone in a room starts laughing, really laughing, the kind where they can't stop, and even if you have no idea what's funny, you feel it pulling at the corners of your own mouth. You start laughing at their laughing. There's no joke anywhere in the equation anymore. The laugh itself became the thing that was funny. This is why comedy shows for decades pumped in laugh tracks fake recorded laughter, because they discovered something almost embarrassing about us. People genuinely find the same joke funnier when they hear other people laughing at it. Your brain treats laughter like information. It hears the sound and quietly concludes, "Everyone else thinks this is safe and good, so I should too." You are far more of a herd animal than you'd like to admit. And that herd instinct runs so deep that it can turn dangerous. There are documented cases of laughter spreading through a group like a virus, person to person, for days, with no joke at the center of it at all. Just the contagion itself, feeding on more of itself. But we're getting ahead of the story, because contagious laughter is still the pleasant kind. Now we start walking into the reasons that aren't so warm. Sometimes we laugh at people, not with them. Someone slips on the ice, someone gets humiliated, someone trips walking into a room full of people, and before you can stop it, the laugh is already out. This is one of the oldest and least flattering reasons we laugh, and thinkers have written about it for thousands of years. There's a little flicker of superiority in it. For one ugly instant, their misfortune makes you feel a bit safer, a bit higher, a bit better off. It's not your finest quality, but it's deeply human, and pretending it doesn't exist won't make it go away. And notice it's still that same safe surprise. The unexpected fall, the sudden break in what should have happened. The difference is that this time, the harmless collision is happening to someone else. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If we laugh when things are safe, why do so many people laugh when things are absolutely not? Here's a reason almost nobody expects to be on the list. We laugh when we're terrified. We laugh when we're in pain. We laugh at funerals, at the worst possible moment, in the most serious room we've ever been in, and we hate ourselves for it, and we do it anyway. This is nervous laughter, and for a long time it made no sense to anyone. Why would the body respond to grief or fear with the same sound it makes at a party? But think about what laughter has been doing this whole time. It's a release valve. When tension builds inside you to an unbearable level, dread, anxiety, horror, the body is desperate to discharge some of that pressure, and laughter is one of the switches it can flip. It doesn't mean you think death is funny. It means the pressure got so high your system reached for the nearest escape hatch. Scientists have watched this happen under controlled conditions, deliberately stressing people out and watching them laugh in the middle of it. The laughter isn't happiness. It's your nervous system letting off steam before the boiler bursts. And there's a second layer to it too. Sometimes we laugh in a tense moment to send a signal to everyone else in the room. It's okay, we're okay, the threat isn't real, you can relax. We use it to diffuse conflict, to smooth over an argument, to take the edge off a moment that's turning dangerous. A well-timed laugh can pull two people back from the brink of a fight. Laughter, it turns out, is one of the oldest peace treaties we have. Now, let's talk about the strangest reason of all, one that proves laughter was never really about jokes to begin with: tickling. When someone tickles you, you laugh helplessly, uncontrollably, even while you're begging them to stop and genuinely not enjoying it. Think about how bizarre that is. You're producing the sound of joy while experiencing something closer to mild torment. No joke was told. Nothing was funny. And yet the laughter pours out of you against your will. So what is tickling, really? The best explanation is that it's ancient play fighting. Look at young animals, puppies, kittens, cubs, wrestling and nipping at each other. It's how they learn the boundaries of their own bodies, how they practice defending themselves, how they build the bonds that keep the group together. Tickling seems to be our version of that. The most ticklish spots on your body are the vulnerable ones, the ribs, the neck, the belly, the exact places you'd need to protect in a real fight. So tickling is a kind of safe, playful attack, and the laughter is your body's way of saying, I know this is pretend, keep going, we're just playing. And here's the proof that it's about connection and not sensation. You cannot tickle yourself. Go ahead and try. It doesn't work. Because your own brain knows the touch is coming, it predicts it perfectly, and there's no surprise, no other person, no play. The whole thing collapses without someone else on the other end of it. Tickling only works as a bridge between two people, which tells you everything about what laughter is for. And if you still think laughter is uniquely, specially human, here's the twist. We're not the only ones who do it. When scientists gently tickle rats, the rats make rapid, high-pitched chirping sounds far too high for us to hear without special equipment. And when they measured it, when they studied it, they became convinced that's laughter. The rats seek it out. They chase the hand that tickles them. Young apes make a panting, breathy sound during play and during tickling that looks like the direct ancestor of your own laugh. Which means laughter is not some sophisticated human invention that arrived with language and comedy. It's the opposite. It's older than all of that. It's a play signal we inherited, passed down through millions of years, from a time long before anyone could tell a joke. You are running ancient software. Every time you laugh, you're using a tool your distant ancestors used to say the exact same thing you're saying now. This is play, we are safe, we are together. There's one more distinction worth knowing, because once you learn it, you'll never unhear it. There are actually two completely different kinds of laughter coming out of people, and your brain can tell them apart, even if you've never consciously noticed. There's real, helpless laughter, the kind that grabs you and shakes you, and you couldn't stop if you tried. That one comes from the deep, ancient, emotional part of the brain, and it's almost impossible to fake convincingly. And then there's the other kind, the polite laugh. The little social chuckle you give a coworker's weak joke or a stranger at a networking event. That one is voluntary. You're producing it on purpose, using a different pathway entirely as a tool. And here's the thing: that fake polite laughter isn't dishonest or bad. It's actually one of the most sophisticated things we do. It's laughter used purely as a social instrument, to smooth an interaction, to signal goodwill, to say, I like you and I want this to go well, even when nothing funny happened at all. We've taken this ancient play signal and turned it into a Swiss Army knife for navigating each other. Real laughter says we are the same. Fake laughter says I want us to be. And most of us switch between the two all day long without ever realizing we're doing it. So, let's go back to that person we started with. The one laughing somewhere in the world right now, who couldn't quite tell you why. Now you know why they can't. Because there wasn't one reason. There were a dozen, all tangled together, running underneath the surface. Maybe they were bonding. Maybe they were bluffing. Maybe they were releasing a pressure they didn't know they were carrying. Maybe they were saying, I'm with you to someone they love, or I'm no threat to someone they just met, or I'm okay to a room that was worried about them. Maybe it was the ancient play signal firing off, the same one a rat feels, the same one a young ape feels, the same one your ancestors felt a million years before the first word was ever spoken. We laugh because something is funny, but that turns out to be the smallest reason of all. Mostly, we laugh to reach each other. It's the sound of a wall coming down between two people. It's the oldest way we have of saying, you're not alone, without ever having to say it. And the next time it happens to you, the next time a laugh escapes before you can think, I hope you catch it for just a second, and notice what it's really doing. Because it was never about the joke. It was always about the person you were laughing with. So go find them, and laugh at something that isn't even funny. That's kind of the whole point.